year, because the president has the bully pulpit to drive those issues. And if the president really cares about those things, and I care deeply to my soul about them, then we can do something about them. But it requires leadership. It doesn't take care of itself. And I think, yes, does the media play a role? Yes. But the media will cover the President of the United States. And the media will cover presidential campaigns. So I think there's a great opportunity here to push this issue forward.
What brings you to New York today, and is there a message you're carrying with you to New York today?
Yeah, my message is that we need to be in it. We need to have our government be as good and strong as the American people are, and not have it controlled by a few very well-financed, powerful interests that are using the government against the interests of most Americans. We need to go in and make this government work for everybody, and if we do that, we meet our huge moral test, which I believe is to ensure that our children have a better life than we've had, which is what 20 generations of Americans have done before us. And I think it is the core of what we need to do with the next presidency.
On the subject of Iraq, are you willing to concede, as many people have asserted, pointing to new statistics, that the so-called surge in military has worked to bring down the level of violence?
I don't believe it's worked, but I believe it hasn't worked for a different reason. I think the test, and virtually everyone who's worked on this issue believes this, I think the test is there movement, serious movement, toward a political reconciliation between Sunni and Shia? Because without that reconciliation, there can be no stability in Iraq. And there has not been. So whatever we do militarily, and there is no military solution to Iraq, unless that political compromise is reached, the violence cannot end.
I'm trying to get a handle on your mindset with so few days left. Can it be said you're content with where you are, given the investment of time and money you've put into this race so far?
No, absolutely not. First of all, I'm never content. I'm not content with where my country is. I think we can do much better than this. I'm not content that our democracy is working for everybody. I'm not content that we're doing the huge moral things that need to be done in this country to lift people out of poverty, strengthen the middle class, ensure the uninsured, address the crisis of global warming. No, I'm not content, in any way content. And that means that 16, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, I've got to go out there and touch people and do the hard work of making sure, getting through the glitz, getting through the glamour, and doing the hard work of ensuring that voters know what I believe that I as president and they can do together.
Since polling is, sadly, the only game in town, often for us to measure relative success or failure, is it frustrating to you that in a place like Iowa, given your investment, you are not out ahead?
No, because I think Iowa was very competitive. I think a lot of money has been spent by my two major opponents there. And I think most importantly, when we get to making the decision in the Iowa caucus, people are going to take a hard look at, number one, who's telling them the truth about what's happening in Washington, including the hard truth. Number two, who, beyond telling the truth, is willing to fight for the change that we need. And who, number three, can win the general election. And I think the answer to those three questions is clearly me. And so I feel very confident as we get closer to the caucus that it'll work out.
I read one profile saying there was a rage inside you on the campaign trail. Is that accurate?
No, I think there's a huge passion inside me. I mean, I am relentlessly optimistic. Anyone who's ever known me knows that. I've spent my entire life fighting against very powerful interests on behalf of ordinary Americans. I'm proud of that. It's where I come from. It's what my life's work is about. That's why I speak out for the uninsured. That's why I speak out for the hungry. It's why I speak out for the poor. It's why I speak out for working people. My whole life has been about fighting for those Americans. And that's what I want to do as President of the United States. And do I feel a passion about that? Yes, I do. And do I believe it takes strength and passion and toughness and fight to be able to change this country? I do. I think we have an epic fight in front of us, and I don't think we can sit around a table inside Washington in a conference room and negotiate our way to this. I think we need a leader who's ready for the fight and a leader who tells the country the truth.
Have the media, do you think, been fair in pointing out the differences between, say, you and Senator Clinton, you and Senator Obama?
I don't think it's an issue of fairness. I just don't think they focus on the differences. I think if you look at the squabbling that's been going on between Senator Clinton and Senator Obama just over the course of the last few days, a lot of it, I mean, the argument about Senator Obama and where he spent his childhood, it feels small and petty to me, not big. And my difference, I think it's fine to point out differences about what we should do about the war in Iraq, what we should do about Iran. But what I want to do is not fight with politicians. I want to fight on behalf of the American people against powerful interests who've taken their democracy away from them. It is a fundamental difference in what I want to do as president and my presidential campaign.